All right. So I'm trying out some new software, and I think this will work out quite well. Except for the fact that I might get a crick in my neck looking up at the monitor. Okay, we'll wait for people to get logged into Roll20. And so Gabe will be playing with us tonight, as you can see. I'll just be moving his character around on the screen, since he's obviously here with me. So yeah, they are level 4. I don't know if you caught that, Gabe. Yeah. Okay. I can tell you, it is unlikely that you will see level 5 tonight. Unlikely. Not impossible, but fairly unlikely. Level 4 is kind of that cutoff point where you can stop seeing, level advancements at the end of every session. And it's funny because, reading this book, The Rime of the Frostmaiden, is very different from reading, Tyranny of Dragons. Tyranny of Dragons being the first adventure set that came out. And, in the second half, in Rise of Tiamat, it's every single quest that they do, they get another level. And it's I read 3 pages. Okay, they get another level. It's oh my god, I'm just handing this out like candy.
I will be back. I have to say hello to people.
Okay, go socialize.
Yeah, there was another game system, Champions, I think, and it was hideously complicated. 5e's got a lot over it. But one thing it did have was your character was bought with points,
right?
Not like attribute points. And you'd have a 200-point character, and every time you play, you get 1 or 2 points. Kind of like micro progress.
Right. Yeah. Well, in a lot of ways, it's a lot like Traveler, where you get experience point. The leveling system that I use is out of the Traveler Companion, which is an optional system. But it's you get, per adventure, you might get 1 or 2 experience points. And then there is a chart that says, how many experience points it costs to go up a rank in a level for skills. And that used to be a fairly common thing. It was the whole experience point thing was a Dungeons and Dragons only level system, whereas everybody else used a point buy.
Right.
Even first edition of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, it was, leveling up was oh, great, I got to level up 1 skill by, 1% or 0.05% or whatever. It was very slight. And D&D was really the only game that I ever played growing up that I can think of where you rolled your attributes. Every other game I played was all point buy. So you'd start you have 200 points to allocate between your statistics and your skills and whatever, and then that's your character.
Yeah. But there you had to make decisions. You could buy, a little 1 or 2 point thing that did just a tiny bit, or you could save up and buy your 10 point. This does something much more powerful. But then you're always, like, your character was always developing, you're making decisions.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. I am going to double check and make sure that our stream is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing while I have the opportunity. So, Carl, how's your week been?
Let's see. I'm retired, so my week is always good. The only thing that
Carl, how's your week been?
kind of bad, I guess, was we've got a contractor that's been putting us off, and he was supposed to come Monday or no tomorrow. He was supposed to come tomorrow after putting us off the last time, and he swears that he'll be here Tuesday. He swears he'll be here Tuesday.
I was going to say, he's still putting you off? Jesus, man.
Oh well.
So while we are waiting for Sam and Juck, I will go ahead and bring us in. Welcome to Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden. We will be picking up where we left off last week. Looks like we have quite a few more players this time. Before we get started, I'd like to thank the Friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. If you're watching on Twitch, if you scroll down, you should see some tiles there, and each of those tiles will take you to these fine people's websites. If you don't see the tiles, please feel free to click on my profile image, and those tiles should pop up for you. First on the list we have is Fable Beard Company. Fable Beard Company makes beard products such as oils, balms, butters, and co-wash. And each of their scent profiles is a different fantasy character. Today I'm wearing one of their new fall scents. It's called the Harvester. It smells of candied apple, or really fresh, crisp apples and like fall leaves. It's a very fall scent. But I'm sure that they have a scent profile that you would enjoy. And if you are a first-time purchaser, they have a buy one, get one free offer. Just create an account on their site, and you can put 2 beard oils into your cart, and if you use the code FIRST in all capital letters, that second beard oil will be discounted to free. Next on the list is the Speechless Bard. She and her husband make leather products for your tabletop role-playing games. A good example of that being that she makes handmade leather covers for your core rulebooks. She has a whole line of dice bracelets, and she has a dice rolling mat that looks like a spell scroll when it is rolled up. If you're going to order from her, especially if it's a gift or other time-sensitive reason, make sure that you give yourself a little extra time. She's over in the UK, and it takes a while for these products to cross the pond and make it through the ridiculous maze that is United States Customs. So where we left off, so the party had gone and they had rooted out the source, or what they thought was the source of the problem with the Duergar by raiding the Duergar outpost. And they made some very... they got really lucky with charm spells and sleep spells, and they worked out quite well to their advantage. But then come to find out that the Duergar outpost wasn't really the root of the problem. Evidently, there is a brother, Dearth Sunblight, another Duergar, who had sent a letter to this guy and to his brother at the Duergar outpost, who telling him that he was waiting on the ferry dock in East Haven. In the process of this routing of this outpost, the party also discovered some mithril ingots that had been stolen, And so they returned them to the dwarves, and the dwarves have now granted them, if the party ever needs a place to stay, they can go to one of the dwarven mines, and they are guests of the Mithril Hall dwarves. And while they were in the dwarven mine, they learned a couple of other interesting things. So the first of which is that there's a rumor of a Goblin Stronghold that there are packs of these goblins prowling the wilderness, and they were given basically a location. It is in the foothills, far to the southwest, at the foothills of the Spine of the World Mountains. And it is just the way the dwarves described it is it does not sound excuse me, it does not sound like your typical goblin fortress. This sounds more much more advanced than what you would normally expect from goblins. The other thing that they learned about was there is a prison far to the north on the shores of the Sea of Moving Ice, and this prison is called Revel's End. And held in this prison is a wizard of the Brotherhood of the Arcane, the host tower of the Arcane, and he may have some answers about things that are going on in the area. And Crypt had a desire to speaking with one of these wizards about a personal issue that he's got with some serious indigestion going on. So you've got three directions that you can go. The party has left the dwarves in Kelvin's Cairn and made their way back to Caer Konig, where Hronda and the albino tiefling that you had rescued is staying in the inn in Caer Konig, and as well as Thomas Blackthorn. So the party is reunited, and it is up to you.
I believe that Hronda has been staying at the cairn, being a personal entertainer.
Yes. So, right. Oh, that's right. You went all the way back to Caer Dineval. That's right. Rhonda stayed at the Caer in Caer Dineval. So, anyways, the party is reunited, and the decision is up to you. Do you want to investigate this other brother in Easthaven and the dastardly deeds he's no doubt up to, or do you want to head to the Goblin Fortress, or do you want to head to Revel's End?
Well, I believe we were going to, for Crypt's sake, we were going to go to Easthaven, where there was the albino.
Well, you have the albino's with you.
Who's chatting?
Yeah, where are we getting all this background chatter?
Yeah, this is cool down here too, right? Yeah, it's my old room. My room was honest.
We can hear you.
Sounds like it's Brady/Colby's.
Yeah. So they moved out, and we
All right, well, hope that works out for you.
Let's have to realize that
Can mute, yeah?
That's what I was just looking
That's
at.
what I'm looking for as well. Let's see.
Is it
Dank Beam?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
I got it turned off.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
All right.
So, anyways, so the albino, whose name is Avarice, the albino tiefling, she is a sorceress. She is with Rhonda at Caer Dineval.
Okay.
So, in East Haven, there is the brother of the Dearth Sunblight, who is the brother of the Duergar that was in charge of the outpost that you just put down. So there's that dangling thread. At Revel's End, there is another wizard who is a prisoner there. And then there is, of course, the Goblin Stronghold. So you can talk to Avarice if you'd like, but which direction did the party want to go?
I wanted to speak to the people if it's not in the way of anyone else's interests.
Sure, certainly. You can do that before you leave. What did you want to ask Avarice?
Like, I have this problem, right, and it's like minor indigestion, but it's a bit worse. I have Slaad egg in my chest, and I want a way to remove it. I was hoping that you could figure out some way to remove it.
She starts to laugh, and it's not like it's not like the cruel mocking you kind of laughter that you would expect. Her laughter actually sends a bit of a shiver up your spine, and she says, "Oh, this is wonderful."
Oh no.
Hold on a second. Let me look at Slaad.
I have like money if you want it, though that might not be of use to you.
All I can keep thinking of is
I have like a
Slaad.
month and a half, maybe a month and three-fourths left. I don't want to die.
Well, the good news is she tells you the good news is that you have the current least of the two worst forms of reproduction for Slaadi. The first one is that they would implant a humanoid host with an egg. The other one is by infecting a host with a transformative disease called chaos phage.
So mine is curable?
She says, well, theoretically. Let's see here.
I think it would be beneficial for both of us. Because if it already is within your power, then it wouldn't be expanding your magical abilities. But if it isn't, then it might be. And I have money, and I get to live, and there's less dead people once it grows up.
She says, well, that is up to interpretation. Yes, I will help you. I don't want your money, but I do insist on keeping the Slaad once the egg is removed.
Oh, definitely. I do not care what happens to it.
Interestingly, she pours over her books, and you stay another 2 nights in Caer Dineval, and she pours over her notes and her books, and you are sitting there eating dinner after 2 nights on the second night, and she sits down at the table, and she says, I am not finding any information in my notes or in any of my tomes about the removal of a Slaad egg. However, she says she knows that it can be done because she has heard many anecdotes of it having been done in the past. But she doesn't have the arcane or medical knowledge required to do that. What? Are you guys okay back there? What?
Sounds like a bar fight.
I know, right?
Sorry, there's a birthday party going on at my house. We have every kid in the goddamn neighborhood here.
Oh. All right.
Okay. So she can't do it.
She can't do it, but she thinks that there is one who may have more information on it.
Who is it?
It would be Vaelish Gant, who is a prisoner in Revel's End.
Ah.
What exactly does he need for the removal? Is it like a surgical thing, or is it a magical thing, or is it a combination magical surgical thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the above. But she said that Vaelish Gant had quite the amount of knowledge about doing that, or about how to harvest a egg. And she looks at Crypt and she smiles and she says, he was usually about 40% effective.
Oh, okay. I've got 18 probably.
Well, yeah, 40% is better than 0.
Well, yeah.
So Turpin has been enjoying a couple of days of time. A lot of that, this person's been off researching and reading and all that. But the time that I have spent around, I'd like to do an insight just to see if I can get a feel for what kind of person is this? Is this a conniving and deceptive person? Is this someone who's in it for themselves?
You mean avarice?
Particular thing, but
You
just
mean
in general. Is this a good person?
You mean you're studying avarice, right?
Yes, right.
Go ahead and make an insight check.
Ugh, that was bad.
Well, it's fairly clear to you. You don't know what her motivations are. You know that she is a part of, just like Vaelish Gant, she is a member of the Arcane Brotherhood from Luskan. In the little time that you have known Avarice, you know that she is a cruel and vindictive person.
There we go. All right.
But as far as what motivates her, you are not entirely sure.
Gotcha.
All you know is that she has told you, and you tend to believe it, having where you found her in the Undercroft and the aqueducts beneath Caer Dineval. She has told you that she was a prisoner of the Black Sword cultists. And she's been completely truthful with you, telling you that the Black Sword, pretty much all of the evidence that you have found backs up what she has told you, in which that the Black Sword cultists were all cultists of Levistus. So it doesn't appear that she has been unforthright with you. She's told you the truth, and this appears to all add up.
Yeah. It's just someone that usually. Go ahead.
was just gonna say, Rhonda wants to ask her about Captain Beniago Kurt of Luskin, but that's a different vein, so go ahead, Carl.
I'm just gonna synopsize and say someone that might be helpful, but isn't necessarily out for your best interest. More their own interests.
Yeah, it definitely seems like she's far more selfish. But as to what her interests are or why she's even here, you're not sure.
Yeah. I am interested in. It's hard to do, but if there's anything that pops up that might have to do with Neverwinter in dealing with her, if she talks about things that might involve that, I am leery because they've sent assassins for me.
Okay.
So I will just perk up if that crops up.
So as to your question about Beniago Kurth, Avarice gets like this wicked smile, and you can see her tiefling fangs a little bit, and she says, he's quite the talker, that one. He's a delicious companion to have around.
Oh, you ain't kidding. He looked delicious to me too, girl.
So the question's on the table. Do you want to go to Revel's End, the prison? Do you want to go... So yes, that's where you're heading, or do you want to check out the Goblin Fortress, or do you want to see about clipping this loose thread with this Duergar in East Haven? Now, if you look at the map, let's see here. So you are here.
Yeah.
And East Haven is just around the corner. In fact, from Kier Dinaval, let's see here.
Yeah, it's like 4 times further to go to Revel's End, and you're cutting across tundra and bad land.
Correct.
Can't go on the roads.
Right, and you would be cutting back through,
Going to the doors.
Yeah, you'd be cutting back through 10 towns anyways to head towards Revel's End. So the question is, do you want to nip this in the bud while you are here? So Avarice checks out Crypt, and she has a stethoscope, and she holds it up to Crypt's chest, and she listens, and she says, "Oh, yep, you're pregnant." She says, "But the good news is it is lying dormant. I think you have some time."
I feel more at home, more comfortable trying to save a compatriot than seeking out Duergar to murder them.
Okay. So you want to...
Other people, you feel like you want to kick indoors and slaughter Duergar in East Haven, and we can stick together.
Rhonda's backing up Crypt. She wants him to live. They've been traveling companions for longer than the rest of the group.
That's true. So it would be 9 hours to East Haven. Obviously much further to Revel's End.
Well, here's a question. So I'm this old merchant that's retired, and most of my contacts are old and retired or dead by now. But do I know anyone in East Haven that I could send a message to and inform them about the events with the Duergar and the dwarves and this connection to that guy, just so that he doesn't run amok without someone being aware of what's happening?
Yeah, you would have some merchant contact in East Haven. So the East Haven kind of took the whole trading hub situation and ran with it. And because they built themselves up as a trading empire, East Haven is ostensibly doing better than the rest of the 10 towns, or the other 9 towns, I guess. So yeah, they are quite the trading mecca as far as the Dale region goes. I would think that you would probably have a contact there. If you wanted to send word to that contact, you could.
Well, then I will do that. It's not that I expect them to handle the problem, but I mean, if they do, that's great. But it's not that we're just abandoning East Haven to a threat without, and just saying, well, it sucks to be you, and waltzing on.
They're taking up, right.
Yeah. So I'll send a message to a contact there and let them know about the dwarves and their statements about the Duergar and what we learned about the Duergar and the sky in East Haven.
Okay.
And then we'll head off to Revel's End. Probably.
Leaving in the morning.
Yeah, I guess we probably should. We'll go to Caraconic because that's a very short shot, and then we can shoot up to the northwest and stop at the dwarves. And
you would have an easier time actually going through Bryn Shander and Targos and Bremen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because the direction that you're going. So,
gotcha.
What is coming up now is, this is recently started. It was sporadic before. Hold on here. Where did it go? Here it is. So, Katabatic winds are coming down off of the Reghead Glacier. And they are ripping through that region. And basically all of this is a frozen, broken glacier tundra all through here. And those Katabatic winds are exceptionally cold. They bring with them, occasionally they bring blizzards, more frequently now than they have been before. But there are trails that lead around from Bremen towards the Sea of Ice that you can move along the Sea of Ice coastline here towards Revel's End and get there much easier.
Okay. That's what we will do.
So you guys spend spend the night, and in the morning you pack up. That was the other thing. They bought dogs and sleds. So, people have ways of riding around and whatnot. And so you guys pack up your sleds.
Honda's going to be cargo in one of those sleds.
Oh, yes, certainly.
Bundled down in furs and everything.
Yeah, they've got three sleds and 3 packs of dogs. So, yeah. And you leave Caer-Dineval, and in roughly 12 hours, you make it to just in time before it starts to get too dark. Now remember, you only have about 5 hours of dusty daylight a day, twilight a day, and then it's dark. But it takes you about 12 hours straight through, and you make it to Bryn Shander. In Bryn Shander, you get a room for the night. Hold on a moment.
Probably at the place where you get free lodging.
Yeah, the Northlook Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were warming up by the fire and sitting down for your evening meal before catching a small amount of rest and leaving again in the morning, you are approached by a gnome dressed as an acolyte with a holy symbol around his neck is clearly the holy symbol of Lathander, the Morning Lord. And he introduces himself as Copper Knobber Knocker. And Copper, rumor passes around the tavern fairly quickly. And Copper approaches you and says, I've overheard that it sounds like you're heading towards Revel's End. Is that true?
Rhonda says, "Oh, aren't you just the sweetest?"
He says, well,
Allow me to make my acquaintance, Rhonda Broadhorn. A pleasure, my tiny little lad.
Copper Knobber Knocker, at your service. My question is, if you are heading towards Revel's End, perhaps instead of going along the coastline of the sea moving ice, you would instead go around Mare de Walden and stop at a location known as the Black Cabin. I'm worried terribly about my friend Macretus. He's trying to build some kind of device that will end the everlasting rime and return Summer to Icewind Dale. I think it's all a bunch of hogwash, but he couldn't be talked out of it. And I'm just terribly worried about it. Could you, if I were to give you some provisions to take to him, do you think that you could maybe help me out and check on him and make sure he's got enough to eat?
Well, certainly.
Oh, Crypt, how could we say no to the little man? We certainly must help.
Alright, I guess.
Don't.
Oh, you're such a dear.
I just see Crypt. Don't pat me on the shoulder too hard. I don't want this thing to break.
I'm sure that potbelly is just beer.
Right?
While we're spending the night here, I think Rhonda would like to get a performance in, if possible.
Oh, most certainly. Before you start your performance, Copper says, "Well, I'm just an acolyte. I don't have a lot of money, and I spent everything I had on these provisions, hoping that somebody would be able to take it to Macretus. I don't have anything to offer as a reward, but Mishan, the priest that runs the House of the Morning Lord here in Bryn Shander, says that he'll offer anybody free healing if they go and check on Macretus for me."
Well, sure.
Yes. It may be our pleasure.
Wait, please, that might be... Healing? No, probably not. Chris really wants us to go to Revel's End.
Yeah. Well, Crypt, if you wish to go talk with the priests of Lysander, now would be a great time.
I think I'll do it anyway.
Yeah. I want to help Rhonda with her performance. I just enjoy it so much, and I love putting on a little light show, telling a story to support.
Is Sam back with us? Is he still muted?
That took way too long.
I was just wondering if you... I mean, whoever's moving, tell them I hope it works out for him okay. So Rhonda's going to give a performance. Sam, are you going to accompany on violin or on the git fiddle?
Absolutely.
All right. So Rhonda, because you are getting the help action from Sam and Turpin, you can go ahead and make your roll with advantage. Performance check.
Most excellent.
I'll do the video special effects.
Laser light show.
Yeah. Sam's doing backups, and Rhonda's the lead singer.
So I was watching Wondrium today, which used to be Great Courses. And anyways, I was watching this lecture on Mesopotamia, and the first episode in the lecture, this woman comes on, and she's the professor, and she's basically telling everybody about herself, and that the biggest question she's always got is, why'd you go into history? Why'd you go into archaeology? And she describes when I was in college, I was doing a full load in college. I was working full time, and then in what little free time I had, I was playing bass guitar for a rock band. And she said it finally got to the point where I had to make a decision on what I wanted to do with my life, and I had to knuckle down. And so I quit playing bass guitar and went full on into being a history major. And she said, and then the band that I played for changed their name to the Bangles and shot up the record charts. Interesting.
Wow.
Alright, Chris, well, I got a 26. So Rhonda comes back from the ladies' room with all of this rouge on her face and the most charcoal eyeliner you've ever seen. She's got a feather boa that's made of rainbow with flying snake feathers.
Oh.
And it's just absolutely everywhere. And she's whipping the ends of her little feather boa around, doing the silliest little burlesque she can.
Okay.
And we got it, like I said, a 26 on the performance roll. And I will add, let's see, at the very end of my performance, I'll cast the Mage Hand cantrip, and a little palm goes around the crowd for tips.
Okay. So, with a 26 performance, everybody, and you have to remember, so when it gets cold at night, most of the town goes to their taverns and inns to eat and drink, and a good portion of the town is here, and they are standing up and are up as close as they can to the stage. Nobody's paying attention to anything else, and your mage hand is going around collecting the money. I'm looking at you, Thomas. You don't want to pick any pockets? No? Yeah. All right. So, Rhonda. You make 17 gold pieces, 30 silver pieces, and 32 copper pieces.
Now I have a question for you. My mage hand, do I get to choose what it looks like?
I don't think
Like,
so.
for example, if I wanted it to be a very feminine hand with nice fingernails.
Yeah, you could do that much, yeah.
Alright, well, that's what I want going around. Nice fingernails done up in a really lovely peach sunset kind of color.
Okay.
Something that fits with her aesthetic.
So, like a cross between RuPaul and Elton John.
Oh, yeah.
Rhonda has glitter. How many people in the bar also have glitter? Everybody.
They all have
They
glitter.
all have glitter.
Rhonda looks like Meatloaf in a dress.
Fucking Meatloaf. Jesus.
And also, at the end of the night, there's going to be a million multicolored rainbow feathers on the floor.
Okay.
Because, feather boas. I've been to some drag shows. You get out there without feathers everywhere.
Yeah, no, they shed like a dog with mange. So the next morning, you wake up, pack up your sleds, and head off. And you head up through Targos, through Bremen, Crypt. Go ahead and make a survival check.
Okay. 14.
Okay, so you were able to find a spot that's sheltered from the wind, and you're able to camp for a night. And then once again the next morning, you pack up and head towards the Black Cabin. So this thing is going to be fucking annoying. No. I need to put you guys on the board. Now, the downside is that you can see some stuff that they can't see because you're looking at my screen. But come on. You can do it. Or not. There it goes. Sorry, my computer's lagging. Oh, no, that's not gonna work. There we go.
Wow, looks scary here. We've got a real cliff edge.
Yeah.
This might just collapse.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Hold on. Maybe I was doing better the previous one. This is...
Sorry, we had to go sing happy birthday real quick. Leave my back.
No problem.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday. I gotta
Well, today it's twins, so it's literally two double birthday business things today. So yeah, you know.
There we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3.
Oh, wait, I always had our birthdays on the same day.
Man, that's like the sad Christmas birthday thing.
Why did you guys have your birthday? Are they really close together or what?
1 week exactly.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The twins
Once
was
we were old enough to realize what was happening, Mom was like, alright, so do you guys want your own birthdays or what? We're just like, we don't care.
Sweet.
As long as we celebrate it, we don't care when. Together or separate.
Okay, so you come up to the black cabin. Perched on the edge of a snowy ridge above a gorge is a black lodge on wooden stilts. Whatever path might have led to this ramshackle retreat lies buried under snow. Icy steps climbed to a snow-covered walkway that clings to the south side of the structure. The building's slumped posture and sagging snow-covered roof, coupled with the broken windows and loose, flapping shutters, suggest utter abandonment. Large snowdrifts huddle around the rotting stilts and engulf a nearby woodshed and outhouse. Only the wind visits this miserable place. The edge of the cabin, the western edge, this thing is in my way. The western edge of the cabin overhangs a deep ravine. I'm just going to have to cover that up. There we go. And off the edge of this ravine, it drops about 120 feet. And when you look into the ravine, you can see the tops of snow-covered pine trees. That's how tall this ravine is. You're above the treetops in this ravine.
Well, aim for the bushes whenever we have to.
Alright, you know what? I'm getting rid of this turn order because it is annoying me. It's taking up my window space.
Thank you.
There we go. And I will just use this. I will use my notebook for
Turn order.
turn order. Yep. Alright, so this is what you see before you.
My, that looks very unsafe. Sarah, would you go and check out that overhang to see if the bottom is securely supported or if it's about to give way? So, my people wonder what the heck's going on because I'm talking to my invisible familiar.
Right.
And here's my familiar.
He's just a crazy old man.
Well, I also, it's also my unseen servant. So when I have to pitch a camp, I ask Sarah to set up
Well,
tents.
it's an imp, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want the imp to check out the ravine?
Yeah, invisibly fly down there and look, see, is the bottom of this thing gonna collapse, or are there like braces that hold? What the heck is going on with this hanging over the ravine thing?
So it looks like, the imp tells you that it looks like there was some kind of rock slide, an avalanche. There is some wreckage from part of the black cabin that is at the bottom of this ravine, but the cabin itself is on stilts. It seems fairly solid. From a foundation standpoint, it seems fairly solid.
This isn't an overhang, and this whole place is just gonna collapse.
Probably not.
Okay. It's a vertical cliff, not an undercut cliff.
Correct.
All right. And the flooring is at least intact at the bottom underneath there. It's not gaping holes with,
No.
Is an unseen servant or a building inspector, huh?
Well, it's an imp, so I mean, no, there's no. She doesn't see any holes in the bottom of the structure.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Like if the floor just gave way and went whoosh down. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
So this is a little shed for holding firewood. It doesn't look like it's full. Nobody's taken firewood in some time. And this appears to be an outhouse.
I'd just shit off the cliff.
All right.
Where would you guys like to go?
Well, I will. Turpin will call out to the black inn Black cabin.
You know that the person who is supposedly staying here is named Macretus.
Macretus. Hello. Is there a Macretus at the cabin? We have come from what is it? Bryn-Shander? Yes, we've come from Bryn-Shander, and your friend, whatever his name is.
Copper.
I forget. I'm old. But he's asked us to bring you some supplies. And I'll wait.
The only response.
Hello, little man.
The only response is a blast of Arctic cold wind and a swirl of snow.
Well, I suppose we should inspect and see if we can find any evidence of what has happened, what's become of the man.
There is a stairway that starts here, goes up 20 feet to this ledge that goes around. There's a door here, and there is a door here.
Right.
So I'll draw my rapier, say, let's poke around,
Yep.
and go up to the first door.
Okay. Of course, yours is the only one that didn't take the name. Take your name, damn it.
Take your name.
There we go.
Is it locked?
It is not locked.
Alright. Open it up.
Frost covers every surface of this abandoned workshop. You see that there are shelves and a workbench. On the workbench, there's a set of smith's tools and a set of tinker's tools that are spread out across a wooden table, along with some twisted bits of metal. A bookcase against the north wall has a family of harmless squirrels living in it. And apart from some scraps of paper and other detritus that the squirrels have all collected for their little nest in the bookshelf itself holds nothing of interest.
Alright. On to the next door.
So, who wants to go to the other door?
Oh, yeah. I'm all for finding out what's happening here. I'm somewhat interested in these scraps of paper to see if there are any notes or something like that. But that can happen later. Right now, we're looking for people.
So, who wants to head to the other door?
Rhonda casts heroism on Crypt. Tells him to go be brave.
Okay. So, Crypt, you are going to the other door?
Are we? We're inside here.